All right, so I got a little bit of a different video for you guys today. Going to be reviewing Star Trucker and going to go over the gameplay, kind of the mechanics of the game, what I thought of it, and also obviously the numbers because that's something I enjoy getting into. So we're going to do the numbers first, and then we'll get into more of the nitty gritty of the game itself. So this game is very much an indie title. I think it is the developer's first game. And so it's fairly obscure. Not a lot of people have covered it, but I really wanted to get into it because it is quite an interesting concept and a unique implementation of the truck simulator genre and set in space and all. Great aesthetic, pretty nice graphics, especially for an indie title. And yeah, it's definitely worth checking out if you like these kind of games. So we're going to jump in here, and first and foremost, we're just going to look at the reviews here. It says mostly positive, and out of those, you can see 76% of the 1,337 user reviews are positive. If we go to verified Steam purchases and keep that playtime over 10 hours like I like to do, it drops down to like 286 user reviews. But the percentage jumps up to 81%. So that kind of tells you the more you play it, the more you like it, or the more you play it, the more you're getting reviews of people who would have liked this game in the first place, I guess. But you can see there's a number of them that are very positive here. There are some downsides, and for the most part, what I've seen in the reviews, I can verify myself from my own gameplay. There's a lot of hamster wheel trying to keep the truck flying while you're making money to keep the truck flying. So you're kind of jumping back and forth between missions and repairing your truck and maintaining your truck. And there's a lot of upkeep in that respect. So that does tend to get a little bit annoying, but I don't know. I think it's a lot more hardcore in that respect than a lot of people thought it would be. I think a lot of people thought this would be kind of just a very low-key, casual, cozy truck simulator type of thing, but it definitely is not that. It's very upkeep mechanics oriented and keeping yourself on that track, keeping your truck flying and maintained properly and refueled and whatnot. So I would think that the developers are probably going to rebalance that a little bit because there is a fair amount of backlash to that one. So I think it will get a little easier as time goes on. But we'll see where that goes. And, right now it's not unplayable. It's certainly not broken or anything. It's very, very solid in terms of mechanics, and you can, maintain that upkeep as you go along. I mean, it's not impossible to do. So, I would say it's just a little more than people were probably expecting. So that's basically the reviews on Steam. And like I said, I can confirm a lot of those frustrations, and a lot of the positives though are the aesthetics. The way that the ships fly and being able to like haul that cargo and have the aesthetics the way it is. And it's a lot of fun to fly around in space like this and go through those jump gates and go between different stations and pick up jobs and whatnot. It's a fun time, if you like those kind of games. So if you do, then this is definitely worth checking out. And one more thing I wanted to say on the Steam page here is that it is 10% off, 23% off if you get the deluxe edition. And that's going until September 17th. So if you see this video before then, definitely take advantage of the sale if you want to get this. So going over here to SteamDB, you can see the numbers. I think the estimates are probably on point here with the number of owners. Between 60 and 75,000. I would say that that's an appropriate number of owners because, like I said, this is not it's not a well-known title. It doesn't have the advantage of the AAA media cycle being able to have access to all the outlets and being able to have huge budgets for marketing campaigns and whatnot. This is a very different story. So it hasn't been marketed like it could have been to get that number up higher than that. But that's the game with indie titles, and it's totally where most indies are. It's actually way better than most indies are. So it is what it is. You can see the peak player counts here are hovering between pretty much like 1900, 2000 here, and a valley of below 1,000, 772 here, 876 there. So it is going down over time, as you would expect. The max at peak was 4,200 simultaneous users, and like I said, it has been going down since then. Now, it's not out of the realm of possibility for an indie title like this to have a resurgence once interest kind of grows in the game and more sales happen and more people start playing it, that is more likely in an indie title than it is in a AAA title, just because, for AAA games, they've already reached market saturation. Everybody that would play that game has already known about that game, whereas the indie games, not necessarily the case. I mean, not everybody really knows about Star Trucker that would play it, and as time goes on, that might change this equation and increase this player count. It's not likely, but it is more likely than AAA. So that's kind of where I'm seeing it, and you never know. Maybe with people like me talking about it, more people will get involved, and it will see that resurgence. But as it stands right now, its peak is 4,200 simultaneous users. So with all that said, let's actually get into the game itself. I would probably give this a recommend to play if you like truck simulators and you like space, and you like kind of that upkeep and maintenance and everything. If you like those kind of things, then this is definitely the game for you. If you were looking for a cozy truck simulator and you don't like those kind of things, it probably isn't your kind of game. But like I said, I mean, having mechanics like that is part of the gaming experience, is to have some degree of difficulty. And so if you like that challenge, then this is definitely for you, just to get that aesthetic, that challenge, and that ability to keep that truck flying and keep going. So let's go over and actually take a look at the game itself. I have to do this a little weird. It's going to be from gameplay capture because I can't do it live. There's something going on with my machine, at least with this game, where it's not capturing it properly while I'm trying to talk into the mic and balance those things out. So we're just going to do this from our pre-recorded thing. Now, I think that's because I'm running Linux. But on the flip side, I can confirm that this works just fine in Linux. There's no problem running in. I'm running Linux Mint. No issue with any of the compatibility on this. It works just fine. It's just with the capture software with OBS it complains. So that is where that is. And so let's just take a look at the game here. So we're looking right in the cab here. We're currently docked to a station. I'm just going to undock and start flying out. And I'm actually going to be heading over to another station to pick up a job. So you can see I'm leaving this station, heading over there, and you can see the external of the truck. It's kind of a very pretty game. It certainly has that Cowboy Bebop aesthetic going, and you can see in the back there, that's where the docking port is. That's also where the cargo goes, the cargo pods attached to the back there, that circular docking port in the back. So it is very much trucks in space, without a question. And you can see that's the station I'm heading to. You can also see the junk in space around me. You don't want to hit that junk, because if it runs into your truck, it'll puncture a hole in your hull, and you'll have to go out and fix it. So you try and avoid the junk. And you can see actually to the bottom left there's a highway, and that actually is clear of junk. So if you see those highways, they're a lot easier to fly through. I think it was too far away to start to bother me going over there, so a lot of times I just fly right through the junk and it doesn't matter. But you got to keep your eyes peeled for that, just to make sure you don't run into anything. And I've run into quite a few things, so I've had to patch a few holes in my hull. It's not the end of the world, but it is a pain in the butt. So that's why you try and avoid it. So you can see there's the job board 0.2 miles away, and I'm going to be flying up to that to go get a job. Anywhere you need to dock, you're going to have to reverse in. So coming up to the docking port here, and what I did was I just turned around, get myself resituated, and you can see on that monitor on the left there, that's my left mirror. I'm going to switch it to the rear docking camera, and you just back into it. And once you get close enough, you can pull that lever on the left, and that'll clamp you into the docking system, and you'll dock with the station. So you can see I'm having a little bit of trouble here. It is very forgiving. You don't have to have it lined up perfectly. I guess I just have a pet peeve about it. I'm trying to get it as perfect as I can. Not doing a very good job of it for sure, but you don't have to be perfect, and it is very forgiving. In fact, just to try it out, I docked completely upside down, 180 degrees rotated, and it corrected me and fixed it right without a problem. So it is a very forgiving docking system. You just have to get that ring lined up and as big as the ring on your reticle, and then you can dock. So in here you can see the jobs that are available. you kind of have to pay attention to see where you're picking up, where you're dropping off, and what the times are. I haven't run into any problems with those yet, but I did have one job where I couldn't find where to pick up the cargo, and I think that was just a bugged mission for some reason. So I had to abandon that, and there's some hefty fines associated with that. So it's something you want to pay attention to as best as you can. Now, once that I've accepted the job, now I'm heading over to the cargo. You can see that little yellow reticle up there. That's where your cargo is that you got to pick up. So you just fly over and you reverse into that just like you do with the docking port. Same kind of mechanics, same ring that you have to get lined up. So it's all the same mechanics for that, which makes it a little easier. And so we're getting close here, and I'm just going to be turning around, and I'll just do the same thing. I'm just going to reverse right into the cargo pod, and then I can pull it out. And that uses that same lever on the left there to hitch it up to your truck. So this one I did a little better job with. I didn't get too far off course, so I'm just kind of aiming low to line it up a little better, and now I can just reverse in a little more. And once you get that ring lined up with the reticles ring, that's when it can hitch up. So there you go. It's just that easy. So it's harder than it looks, but it is fairly easy to get the hang of that. Now I'm switching around some air filters here, and this is kind of part of the maintenance process of this. You can see that I had one on the left. Maybe we'll see it in a minute here, but there was 3 air filters, 1 on the left and 2 on the right, and I had to switch the left one because it was low, so I kind of swapped those around. I'm also changing my energy cylinders. There's like a bunch of energy cylinders around the truck for different things. This one's the main core power. There's one for gravity. There's one for like the mag hitch. You can see them all right here, and basically you flip off the breaker, you go up and you change it, and this is the one I'm doing for the oxygen. So you just open the oxygen hatch, pull out the old one, put in the new cylinder, and you have to buy these. So basically you sell the old ones back for a reduced amount, and you buy some new ones, and you maintain a fair amount of those on stock, or at least I have been, just because I've run through an awful lot of them. They go dead pretty quick, and I think that's a balancing issue. I think they need to slow down how fast they drop off, because they do go down really fast, way faster than they probably should. And I'm basically just doing this because the mission is, I don't want to run out of these cylinders mid-mission, and they're down to like 29. So I wanted to make sure that I managed to replace those problem ones before I ran out mid-mission. That would have been bad. So I got those replaced, and then I can go back up and I can resume my mission here and keep on trucking, I guess. So you can see all the power levels there. They're all back to at least half full. So I figure half full is good for a mission, because it seems like you can do 2 missions on most of these power cells without a problem. And there are higher capacity ones where you can do potentially more, or at least have a little bit of reserve. So I was trying to buy a few of those as well. So that's a good system there to keep the higher level power ones in stock on your truck, just to keep those cycling in. You start off with 100s, and I think the higher levels are 150s. So it's a good 50% more than normal. Now you can see I'm entering one of those highway systems. This is the way that there's no junk on the highway, so you're not going to worry about running into anything, but you do have to stay within the lanes. And I don't know, it doesn't seem like there's speed limit signs posted, but it doesn't seem like anybody cares, because I just go as fast as I can, and nobody has complained so far. So I think those are just there. They're not being enforced, at least not yet. Now the developer might change things down the road, who knows? But so far, it seems like that's not an issue, and so we're just flying through here. I'm gonna skip ahead because this is just a long, drawn-out process here. So we're coming up to go back a little bit. We're coming up to the the warp gate that you go through to go from one system to another. So this is the one for where I'm headed, and you can see it's in yellow. So when you have an active mission, or you have a waypoint on your map, it'll highlight those signposts in yellow as opposed to the red and blue. So that's helpful, very helpful to know that that's where you need to go, especially when you're in system and there's all this stuff everywhere and you're not sure where to go. So that is very helpful, and you have to get fairly close to these gates, much closer than I would have thought. And with the way that the truck drifts around a bit, it is a little sketchy as to how close you can get before you end up like plowing into something. But I'm getting the hang of that, and it took a little while. It takes a little while to get the hang of it, but it isn't too terrible. So once these green lights go all three green, you just hit the jump switch on the top there, and you jump through the gate. Now I can't remember if I.
How's the grind?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Finally free of bureaucracy,
So I got this. This is like one of the side missions that they have.
Workshop, right? Well, either way, you should absolutely swing by next time you pass through Tank Town. This is Sour Candy with the 8s and 3s. Laters, LJ.
And there was nothing for me to say, but that's how you kind of talk to other people. It's kind of like a Fallout system, like a Bethesda system, where you have options. You have 1, 2, and 3. So you right click on that when you have the mic, and it gives you options 1, 2, or 3 for responses. So it's kind of a dialogue tree like that would be. So another interesting part of this, I didn't expect to have like a radio communication system with, dialogue trees and the like as well. So that's kind of cool. So right now I'm just planning out my route, making sure I get where I need to go. And yeah, so that's telling me Emerald Junction is the next place. So I'm just going to fly right over there. I think there is a highway down below to the left, but I don't know where that one goes. I think that goes back to a different gate. So I'm just heading right for it. And like I said, you always have to keep an eye out for junk. So there is a few particles out there up in the top, but I managed to dodge them, I think, and we'll find out in a minute. But again, I think we're going to just skip ahead once we get closer to the jump gate. And you can see I'm kind of recentering myself. And I always try to go head on, but it seems very forgiving with this as well. Once you're relatively close enough and you stopped, that's when the lights go all yellow, and then it goes to the green as like a countdown. So that part is very forgiving as well. Doesn't seem like it's a big deal to get close enough, and you can see this is the external camera. I figured I'd pull out and give you a beauty shot.
Emerald Junction.
Now Emerald Junction
This is an automated checkpoint inspection. Please be patient while security drones check for compliance.
So it's like making sure you don't haul on any contraband cargo or what have you, which I haven't run into yet, but I'm sure it's in the game because they wouldn't have those guys there if it wasn't. So that'll be interesting to run into. And you can see that white star is the drop zone. That's where you have to drop your cargo off. And those are just basically just like a cage around where you need to be. And once you get close, the lights will go from that magenta to green, and then you just unhitch your cargo and your mission's done. So it's very simple to complete missions. You don't have any like special turn-in points or anything. You just unhitch your cargo and it's a done deal. And that's kind of nice. I mean, it's simple, it's straightforward, and it's not complicated to complete these missions. Now down the road, you're going to get more complicated missions like time requirements and fragile cargo and whatnot. There's a whole bunch of stuff like that down the road that does make it a little more complex, but the actual mechanics themselves are very straightforward, which is nice because it's easy to get into this game like that. So I guess the next thing is just kind of going around, and I'm going to be showing you a couple of things here, I think. I guess the first thing would be, yeah, I'm going to be heading outside. So you put on your suit, you get in here and close the door, and then that's your airlock switch, which brings you up to the outside of your truck. And it's RCS controls. It's like, WASD, space is up, shift is down, and you can kind of mouse look around, which is Another thing that takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you're used to it, you're good. And you can see those patches, those silver patches on the side of my truck. That's where I ran into space debris and I had to patch the truck. But I figured I would go out here just to kind of do a beauty shot, spin around, show you some of the, this is the box standard truck. I haven't done any mods to this. I'm not that far into the game yet, so fairly simple. But it's a good looking game. I mean, you can't argue with the aesthetics of this thing. And I guess I spin around a little more, and yeah, I think we're actually going to just end on this. So basically, long story short, I do recommend it. It is a lot of upkeep on your truck to keep you flying. I did run out of oxygen one time, so I had to be rescued, and there is a rescue mechanic. But like I said, I mean, these are definitely gotchas in this game. It's not that cozy, casual, low-key truck simulator thing that everybody thought it was going to be. It's fairly involved, and it is a bit of a challenge, and it's going to undoubtedly get more difficult as time goes on. But yeah, that's Truck Simulator, or not Truck Simulator, Star Trucker. And I hope you enjoy the vid. If you like these kind of videos, definitely give me a like. And if you like this kind of a game, definitely check it out. Like I said, it's on sale until September 17th, so you got a few days to go and get it and get that 10 to 23% off. So that's all I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the vid, and I will talk to you guys later.